news that's coming out of the MHRA. Now, the Daily Mail released what they called an exclusive article, which would indicate that, like the CDC just seem to have approved vaccines for babies, it looks like the MHRA are going the same way in this country. So this is a warning alert for all parents to keep an eye out now very closely on their baby's immunisation schedule. They say that this isn't going to be rolled out to the masses, and that babies will, at the age of 6 months, if they're deemed to be vulnerable, by Christmas 2022, may be offered the Moderna shot. So I really want to highlight this because this is extremely dangerous. Babies do not need injections. Most children have had, in inverted commas, COVID, although we know it hasn't actually been isolated. So before everybody writes in to complain to me to say it hasn't been isolated, I realise that, but those are the facts. So, of course, with that news in mind, I immediately wrote to the MHRA and I wrote to Dame June Rain with a freedom of information that you can see there on the left, asking her to clarify the MHRA's position with regards to this alleged inclusion of the vaccine for babies of 6 months. I've actually received not one but two acknowledgements from the MHRA that you can see, one of them on the right there. So I'm waiting to hear, but watch this space because I'm really very concerned about this, especially if it gets slipped into the schedule. I know Dr. Ros Jones is very hot on this as well, paediatrician, who we've also interviewed. But you know what? Despite that, the NHS is just ramping it up and now saying we've had 10 million people take up on the booster shots. Roll up, come for your vaccine. And not just your COVID vaccine, but your flu vaccine, because, of course, we're expecting a twindemic, or are we? We'll come to that in a minute. But according to the NHS there, we're expecting a twindemic. So please, will you go and get your COVID and flu shots immediately? Very, very worrying. We do not need any boosters. Thank you. Meanwhile...